Hello and welcome back to my YouTube channel. This video, I'm going to talk about some of the myths and misconceptions around homeopathy. I'm going to go into a number of videos over the next little while that are going to help you to see the science and the natural laws that are really behind homeopathy. But to get started, I would say one of the biggest things that I struggled with when I first started using homeopathy and then discovering the Iome healing system, which is what I've created out of that system, is there's a lot of weird myths and misconceptions. And I was thinking that in the last 10 years, more and more young women and couples are starting to look at more natural ways of taking care of themselves and their little ones and stuff, which is what I did 20 some odd years ago. And even though it was super unknown way back then, I had thought that it was starting to get much better known. And yet still, when I run into these young moms and I find out that they have the same myths and misconceptions that I started out with, and that makes you feel limited when using these, I felt like it was time to do a video so that I could help dispel some of those misconceptions that most people have around homeopathy. And I know I did as well. So, bear with me that I'm going to go through basically the top ones that I know I struggled with and that I see the most on a day-to-day basis. So probably the biggest thing I see is, how we all feel that there's so many things that can antidote a remedy. So for instance, I can remember way back when in my early years, we went to this classical homeopath that owns this health food store here in town, and I wanted to pick up, it was a remedy, I think, of some sort. And he said to me, "Oh, I have this new toothpaste in that doesn't have mint in it, so you can brush your teeth and take your remedies right away." And this guy is well known, and he's been around for a long time. And I remember at the time looking at him like, that's not true, right? I didn't say anything because I didn't want to get into that argument, and especially an argument about beliefs, because that's what he truly believed. But I'll tell you this, there is so many weird rules around remedies that you'll null and void them, and again, when I had little kids, I totally believe that too. You can't take a remedy within 10 to 15 minutes of eating or drinking anything. And that if you brush your teeth with mint, that, you're going to antidote the remedies you just took. Or if you have coffee, you're going to antidote. Like, so many rules. And then when I went through the system of Heilkunst, and then I started recognizing that those rules were made way back when Dr. Hahnemann, the founder of this system, started out, and he was creating rules around when and how to take them, and they were using very, very low doses so they could see the reaction in the body. So they were using low X scale, very physical remedies. It was only then that certain remedies could be antidoted by certain things, but very small. So anytime you're using a remedy, if it is over a 12 CH, you cannot antidote it whatsoever. So let go of all those crazy ideas. Because believe me, when I had babies and I was thinking, oh my God, they have a cough and I really want to get this remedy in them, but they just had something to drink. Crap, now I'm going to have to time it out. It's chaos. I don't even know how I managed to get remedies into my kids at that time, but I did. I figured, and probably because I gave up on the rules and just, I'm going to try them anyway, because you're hacking and you're coughing and you've got an earache and you're crying or whatever I was using them for. I just wanted to use them, and I'm glad that I did. So I will tell you this, if you have little ones, do not worry about when and how you're giving them. Just give them to them as often as you can, and as much as you can when you're trying to get them over an acute illness. Anything, even chronic, even emotional, no matter what you're treating, you cannot antidote remedies over a 12 CH. And most of the time, if you're using remedies, you should be using at least a 30 CH or a 200 CH, which is far more powerful and works so much faster and more effective. So understanding dose is a little bit more complicated, and I'm not going to go into it in this video, but if you are interested, I'll post a link below to my my course. I have a fairly inexpensive course that, as a mom or a dad or a caregiver, if you want to learn how to properly use homeopathics and Iome remedies and how they work and the science behind them even more, and exactly what potencies are and how they're created and yada yada, it's all in my course, so I'll put a link below. But I will say this about dose. So when you're taking your remedies, and again, this was another misconception, because same classical homeopath sold me this remedy, and it was Lycopodium CM or something like that. And there's, I don't know how many hundreds of little pellets in this container. He told me, you go home, you take half of those pellets tonight, and you take the other half tomorrow night. So basically used up that $20 vial in like 2 days. And that's what I did. Only to learn later, after I took my own course, that one single pellet is a dose. So here, this is very, very careful. So if you take that whole container all at once and you put it in, all those little pellets in your mouth, and you absorb them all at the same time, 1 dose. But if I took one of those pellets, put it on my tongue, dissolved it in my mouth, counted to 10, put another little pellet in my mouth, now I've had 2 doses fairly close together, not just 1 dose. So, and when I sell my kits, I'm very clear that 1 pellet is a dose. Please do not waste them, so that you can have them for a long period of time. I'm not out to make $1 million off these kits. I want you to use them and heal yourself in the safest, most effective way possible. And so be very clear that a dose is just 1. It's contact in your mouth that makes the dose. So even if you make that, and this is what I tell my people that buy the kits, it'll come in your user guide. Take some pellets. If you're going to use that remedy all day, instead of wasting your pellets, take 1 pellet, put it in a glass of water, stir up that water, and then sip the water. That pellet dissolves into all that water and makes that water a dose of that particular remedy. So you can save your pellets, but a sip is a dose. If you take a teaspoon of that water on your mouth, it's a dose. Contact makes the dose. I think I'm clear on that. Another thing that comes up is people always saying, oh, I had a horrible reaction to a remedy. I had bad healing reaction. Well, for those of you who think these are all placebo, how could you possibly? However, it does happen. And again, oftentimes this has made people poo-poo homeopathy. It's like, oh, I took this remedy and had headaches and was throwing up and my body ached and all these things. Well, here's the deal with why you would react to a remedy. So first and foremost, understand that if you take a remedy, your body has to connect with it. It's a similar state, similar disease. Again, get my course or watch some of the other videos to understand. I'm not going to explain all that today. A remedy is going to react to a state you're already carrying. So you already have this dis-ease or illness going on in your body, and it's being expressed by symptoms. You take a remedy that matches those symptoms, and the remedy's job is to move out those symptoms, because no 2 similar diseases can reside within the life force at one time. Law of the human organism. However, if you take a remedy that is far too high and far too often, or maybe even too low of an X scale dose, that's way too physical and too often, then your life force is going to go, whoa, hey, can't deal, can't cope. And then you're going to react. The body's saying, it's basically like taking a sledgehammer to a tiny little nail. Your life force is not prepared to deal with that onslaught of pushing and clearing and healing. You have to do things as gently and as easy as possible. And so that's why I always recommend dose and potency, very, very carefully with my kits. But just remember, if you've reacted to a remedy, it's because you have that state. It's the right remedy. You've just gone in with the wrong potency and wrong dosing. So if you have a question in that and you've had that experience, please reach out to me and let me help you work through that so that you can go back into using these remedies in a safer, more effective and better way. Because I do love this system and I really want everyone to give it a try. Because remember, really, too much of a good thing cannot be a good thing. So just remember that when you go to try and use them again. So the last thing I'm going to address is when a remedy doesn't work, or when somebody says, I tried homeopathy and didn't do anything. Well, that happens a lot. And I'll tell you why. Because remedies have very specific actions, and yet remedies can look very, very similar. If you're reading a book and you're looking at symptomology, belladonna and pulsatilla can look very similar. And yet They're not at all. So let's say you have a belladonna fever and you are looking at this remedies and you're reading through all the information. You're saying, oh, I really connect with pulsatilla. Must be pulsatilla. And you take the remedy. And you wait a little bit and you take it again. And you wait a little bit and you take it again. And you're like, oh my God, it's been like an hour and I don't notice anything. Because you've taken the wrong remedy. If you go back and review and you find the right remedy and then you take that particular remedy, I guarantee you that within a few minutes of taking the right remedy in the right dose and potency, you will notice a change. Guaranteed. And if you don't, I want you to call me out on it because I will go through that with you because I've talked to enough people. And what's great about this system is when I give the right remedy and the right dose and the right potency to somebody who's never used a remedy before in their life, and they're like, no, it's not gonna work. I'm still going to my doctor later. And I've had this, and I give them the remedies. I call them or talk to them a few days later, and they will be like, oh my God, I had no clue that remedies could be that effective. I literally felt better almost instantly when I started using them. I did not go to my doctor. And in fact, the next day felt like $1,000,000. So let me know if you have had an experience where you've been like, nope, tried remedies, haven't done a damn thing. I want you to reach out to me and give me your symptoms, give me your state, let's walk through it, and I'll find the right remedy for you. And then you tell me whether you've had a reaction and whether you have felt better or not. And I guess, again, if you really want to, you could probably still deny it, but I know that you will have a healthy healing reaction in the right way, with the right remedy in the right dose and the right potency. And finally, one of the other things that, and again, classical homeopaths always poo-poo using multiple remedies. And in my IOMA remedies, they are combinations of both tonic and pathic because they're the most effective quickly and deeply on whatever that issue is. However, classicalists will argue, Hahnemann, who created the system, stated very clearly in his literature, one remedy per disease. All right, let's hash this one out right here. So, one remedy per disease, absolutely true. Now, think of if you've been in an accident of some sort. So think of a car accident. Let's say even just a fairly minor fender bender. You know, you slam into the car in front of you and the car behind you slams into you. Okay, let's walk through this. So, you hit your head off the steering wheel or some such thing, or even just snap your head forward. So you have, possible blunt force trauma somewhere to your body. That's arnica. Then you have, whiplash issues. Well, that's, cicuta and helleborus. And then you have, some muscle tension and ligament damage, and that's ruta and rus. And then you have, anger because you were really victimized and you feel angry about it, so that's staph. And then you're fearful and anxiety about it. So acutely that's aconite, and then deeply it's opium. So you have all of these remedies going on at one time, literally in the blink of an eye. All of those states have affected you. So every single one of those remedies needs to be included into your healing repertory if you're going to solve that whole problem. I hope that makes sense. So yes, Hahnemann stated one remedy per disease, and it is one remedy per disease state. Every one of those different ailments that have been triggered all at once is its own unique disease in its own unique way. So apologies on the ending of this video. Apparently I ran out of battery with my other camera, so I'm using my phone to finish up. So I just want to say that there's a lot of misconceptions, out there around the use of homeopathy. And I've been using remedies, since I was a teenager, and I love how they work. And it's funny, a practitioner friend was struggling the other day. It's her second anniversary of her mom's death, and she was having a lot of lower back pain, and it's hard to diagnose yourself. So as practitioners, we share amongst each other because we know how hard it is. And so she reached out to me and said how it's been a tough week for her, but she's never had that kind of lower back pain. She was trying this remedy and that remedy and that remedy, again trying to self-diagnose and going, those are most obvious remedies, but they're not working. And intuitively a remedy popped up that I know I've used with my brother with lower back and feeling unsupported. There's a number of reasons why I chose that remedy. And I said, try this remedy, 200C. Got a message today from her saying, I am literally 50% better already. I thank you, thank you, thank you. And that's what this is about for me. I use them because I know they're safe. I'm not damaging my internal organs with a whole bunch of conventional meds like I did when I first got sick. I know that I can take care of my family. My kids are in their 20s and they've never had conventional medicine before. Okay, maybe the odd Advil with a tooth pain or something. I get it. I've done that as well. But really, 1 in 20 years kind of thing. So you can take care of your health holistically and naturally and safely and effectively with homeopathy and the Iome remedies that I've created. And I want you to understand that oftentimes the reasons they aren't work or they work the wrong way or whatever is because there's a lot of misconceptions. And I hope this video has given you a little more clarity. And if it hasn't, please reach out. Ask me some questions. I am here to be of service to you. So thank you so much for watching this video, and I hope that you'll stick around, subscribe, because I'm going to have lots more videos like this. And if you have some ideas that you'd like to see a video for, please let me know, and I will do a video about that. But hang on for another video in this kind of series, because my girlfriend and I are going to dig deeper into the science and the statistics around homeopathy and all the hundreds of years it's been used and the doctors that have used it. And we're going to kind of filter through all that and create a video for you to really see the truth behind the misconceptions and myths. So have a great week, and I will see you again next week